are now running online stores, club merchandise, anything else that the club can sort of sell. We've seen improvement on a lot of those, and you can generate some great revenue if you set it up correctly. We can attract players, volunteers, if it's set up, recognize those who participate in the club. So anyone who's a life member, someone who's done a lot for the club, who's achieved something, you can always put something like that there. People really appreciate that. So obviously the goal is to be found by players, parents, families, members, sponsors, local community, and media. Now, working with a few of the clubs, some of the challenges that I can see that are facing the clubs today are standing out. There's obviously a lot of clubs, similar setups, and there's obviously competing sporting codes. Attracting and retaining players is one of the things that I've discussed with some of the clubs. Keeping stakeholders up to date, bringing in quality sponsors, delivering value to those sponsors, and building a sense of community around clubs. A few of the points, for example, is social media. This Sunday is Mother's Day. Clubs should be preparing something. You can set up a post, just anything that, even through some of your social media accounts or on your website, maybe just saying Happy Mother's Day, something like that to generate some interaction with some of the members, the community. It goes a long way, and it shows that the club is still active and still there. So some of the things that would be good to basically what you need to do now: have a dedicated committee member for digital engagement. This doesn't mean that that one person should take all the brunt and bear the responsibility of doing everything, but just someone who is the voice and is basically pointing everything in the right direction. Encourage members to participate, because it isn't a job for one person. If there is a match or something that happens on the Sunday, the club did great, they won their match, or something happened that was great, someone had a milestone that they achieved. If the club perhaps sent out a message to some of the members, if you got a photo or something like that, send it to us, somehow get it to us. We'll tag you or do something, and we'll put your pictures up there. So try and get some of maybe the members involved, and you can get all this content back, which will probably help out. Get the website, best website you can afford. We've seen a few clubs looking from the outside in. The first thing people are going to do is check the website. If the website hasn't been updated or it's very dated, that's going to reflect on the club, especially if you're in an area where there's a few clubs around. Having a website that is just nice, clean, and up to date is a huge impact. It's not that hard, and I'd be happy to speak to any of the club committee members or the clubs directly to see if I can help out and do something in that area. Invest in one social media platform, Facebook or Instagram. Try not to repeat on multiple platforms. That can be linked with a couple of other ones, but I think some of the other presenters tonight might expand on that. But we've found that Facebook and Instagram are the two biggest platforms we've gotten traction with. Keep your website and chosen social media platform up to date. That's the important one. You can use almost anything. Like I said, something that happened at an event. If you have an event coming up, is there some sort of milestone within the club? Is there a new sponsor? Anything. Whenever you get an opportunity, try and space them out and keep the social media and your website up to date. Constantly having just something there every single week. You don't want to wait a couple of months. If you do, it'll turn into more months, it'll turn into years, and you'd have no activity. Give value to your sponsors. Constantly advertising opportunities is a great way to keep them involved. Almost sponsors just want to know that they are recognized, and we can help out to show you a few initiatives to get that sort of underway. But yeah, keeping them happy, you'll get more sponsors. Obviously, it builds onto helping the clubs out. That's about it for my presentation there. Was there any questions, Abid, maybe on any of those points?
Chris, if you can just give us a highlight of your work with Football West and with the clubs. I think it was the first minute that I wasn't able to record, so happy to go back if you're comfortable doing that. And if we can talk about those clubs that you've worked with and what are the opportunities available. So thank you.
Not a problem. So with Football West, obviously we've done a lot of social media on the website. We've been helping with community interactions, things like that. We've worked with about 6 clubs at the moment, and did a grant. I'm not sure if that's going to be available. If there is any grants available, Football West will be in contact to see if any of the clubs do um, align in with any of those, and can possibly obtain some funding. Um, yeah, some of the other 2 points that I can probably discuss that I've seen with some of the clubs is their email systems. Some clubs I've noticed, when a committee member joins and they're the secretary or the president or something like that, we seem to find that some people use their own personal email accounts, something at outlook.com or at hotmail.com. If there is a change in the committee and that person leaves, they take a lot of that information with them. Any of the clubs that don't have a domain or aren't using the domain as one of their email accounts, that I can't stress that enough. That is a huge factor, and it's so easy to switch out if someone from the committee changes, and to keep the information within the club. You'll actually keep that email address. On working on that, Microsoft offer not-for-profit licensing. So I'd hope that the clubs aren't purchasing, say, for example, 365 direct from Microsoft or any Microsoft products, because you can get a significant discount if we can register your club correctly. Computing Show would be happy to discuss that with any of the clubs and see if you apply for that. And most clubs do. Then your Microsoft licensing for emails is pretty much almost nothing, a little bit of labor, and we can switch your email system across. So emails is another thing that would really help out, I think, with some of the clubs.
That's really good to know, Chris. That's perfect. And the work you've been doing with building websites for clubs has been phenomenal. How has that been for Computing Australia Group to work directly with some of those community clubs?
It's been fantastic. It's much nicer to work with, community and football, than some of the other standard websites we do. The images and some of the information we get from the clubs is fantastic. It's a world that we've really dived into recently, and yeah, I really enjoy working with some of the clubs. We have attended a few of the events, and again, there's about 6 clubs that we have do some sponsorship with. I'd be happy to discuss sponsorship with some of the clubs if they were interested and just work out something. But we've got quite a few clubs on board at the moment, which has been fantastic. We've got some signage and even our logo on some shirts, which has just been phenomenal. I understand that a lot of the club committee members are volunteers, so communication is sometimes not as quick or as responsive as we'd like, but that's just the way it works. If you are a volunteer, you've got your family to think about. You've obviously got work. There's other commitments. Unfortunately, some of the sporting activities that you do come down the list, but as I said, if there's just one person in the club that's been designated the digital engagement person, someone who's looking after social media and the website, it gets very difficult for that person to try and keep it going. I definitely recommend and encourage some clubs to try and branch out and get a few people involved, and I find that works best.
It's good advice, really good advice, Chris. You've given us the contact details. We highly recommend clubs to reach out, clubs and associations to reach out to Computing Australia Group. They're a great resource, have really helped. Chris is there. He loves his football. The team love their football as well. So thank you, Chris. And we hope this generates some positive activity for the clubs and for yourselves.
Excellent. I really appreciate Arbid. And again, feel free to contact Arbid if you do want to get in touch. I'm happy to discuss anything with a committee member or the clubs and just see if we can help out.
Excellent. And while we've been talking about clubs, it's a really good segue because we'll be having our next guest, who is Robbie Anderson from Joondalup City FC. Robbie's background is in quite a few areas. You're a coach, you're an ex-player, and also a social media extraordinaire. Recent Football West Best of the West Volunteer of the Month by his own club. And you also do some social media work with Football West. So with this one, we definitely got your club cap on, and as a volunteer, the time, effort you put in, this would be great to hear from you, Robbie. So welcome.
Thanks for having me, Abid. It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to sharing some of the processes I go through with Joondalup City's social media. Just give me one moment. I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. Go back to here. Just let me know if you can see that a bit.
Not just yet.
Okay.
There we go. All good.
Okay.
All good.
Great. Okay. So I'm just going to practically run through this PowerPoint that I've put together, and the role of social media at Joondalup City, and how I really started at Joondalup City, and I've done the social media for about 2.5 years now. So just to start, just to introduce myself for people who don't know me, which is pretty much all of you that should be watching. My name's Robbie Anderson, and I'm the social media coordinator at Joondalup City Football Club. I'm a third year university student, and I'm studying a Bachelor of Media and Communications, majoring in broadcasting and digital journalism. It's a great degree. I really love doing it, and especially for the field that I'm looking to go into. It's a really practical and pretty full-on degree. My journey into social media and running Joondalup City has been involved with Football West, all stemmed from my own personal passion with football. I grew up from a young age playing it my entire life. My dad always involved with the game, and also my sister plays herself. Not so much my mum, but no, we're a big football family. And through being involved in the media and the entertainment industry since a young age, I saw an opportunity to take over the social media at Joondalup City, my own club that I've been involved with since the week that I moved to Australia, and that's how I got into it. Alongside my social media work with Joondalup City, I'm also one of the state under-18s coaches alongside Paul Welsh, and I work casually with Football West as a community coach. And I do some casual social media work with Football West as well. So usually during our finals period, you'll see me operating the Instagram stories. Onto the approach of social media at Joondalup City and how this can help other clubs. This is more a point of view of how I've decided to take our strategy as a club, and hopefully by me providing some information on what we do, you can build something similar around for your club. So just listed here is a few things that I feel is really important towards what we do as a club. Number one up top there is quality images. Having a bit of photography background myself, I just have a basic Canon camera, which is purchased in 2016, and building an asset file of images from masters all the way down to many rows from your state league to your junior teams. I believe it's very important when having a consistency on social media is having your own organic images, assets to be able to pull from. On Joondalup social media or Joondalup City social media, that's something that we focus on heavily, is even when we're creating graphics or sharing stuff about our sponsors, we always want to pair it with an organic image from our juniors or from our state league, because it's uniquely us. It's our football club in the images. It's the memories that we are retaining or keeping, and we can look back on through the images that we take. So all the state league games, as many junior games as possible, into masters, mini roos, girls football in there. We will take our images, place them in a big file, and that's something that we can pull from to really drive our social media organically. Another thing on there is keeping it fresh. When it comes to social media, things can be quite repetitive. Chris touched on that previously in his presentation. We want to keep our audience engaged as engaged as possible. We want them to be interested. We want them, when they're scrolling past your image, to stop and have a look, and that's by providing something fresh, something new. And I revisit my graphics quite often. I think about what can I do that I haven't done already that can be something interesting, something that's going to make people stop and have a look at our content. I have a process, and that process is usually creating organic templates early before the season starts. And when it comes to providing score posts or having content that I can release, it's something that I can simply swap out and keep fresh, paired with an image. So the process is usually moving my content around templates that I've built myself, that can reduce the workload but maintain that quality. And the last thing I have there is prioritizing my audience or the audience, which is really Joondalup City Football Club players, members, supporters, parents, and the community surrounding. So when I do the post for Joondalup City, and when we put together our strategy, it's all about engaging our own people, and through that we can benefit further. How about a social media strategy at Joondalup City? And I've just tried to put it into maybe a smaller sentence for you, because it has been built up over time. I'm very much new within the area, being only 21 myself, but I've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to learn as my time went on through Joondalup City. And really where I've landed on is our strategy focuses on engaging our community and players through building assets. That's the images, that's the graphics, that can be used, consumed, and easily identified as Joondalup City. All the images that you see in the background at the moment are taken by myself, and we use them on our profiles to create stories, to highlight the moments of the players. And when we look at football, it's all about the moments in the pitch. It's about them big wins. It's about the unfortunate losses, and I want to capture that. I want our players to remember the moments and be able to post it on their social media, and hopefully it will bounce back to us. A point I've already, or a word that I've already used, is growing organically. Having our own image assets to pull from is so important, because I would encourage clubs not just to go onto Google and type in a picture of a football and then move it across to their social media, because again, you're not getting that personal connection you can get with an original image. And clubs don't have to really invest in a camera. I would encourage that would be a really good thing. But it could be a local photographer that comes down to the games that you could support with shout outs, or you could take them on. It could be a parent we've got quite a few parents at Joondalup City who bring their cameras to the game. Ask them for their images and just give them a credit. It's little things like that as part of your community that can really boost things. Another point I've said there is getting our players to really buy in. So one of the points I have with our state teams is that we collect images from every single game, and from that I will bring the images back, put them on my laptop, I'll edit them down, choose our best ones, and then I'll send them out to the players. And what I'll say is you can use them images for free, post them on your social media, enjoy them. The the only thing I would ask is if you tag the club on the way back, and that's another really good organic way to gain followers, to gain impressions from people but outside of your community base, just by touching the followers that are across the board with your players, and having attractive content. So I've got some examples coming ahead of just some work that I put together with Joondalup City that I just wanted you to look at, just to give you an example. So they all follow the club colours. They all are, in my opinion, easily consumable, easy to look at, and when you scroll past them, you want to stop and have a look, because again, the basis of all these pieces of work is our organic images, pictures of our players, pictures of our parents, pictures of our coaches, that people want to see, I hope. Just some suggestions coming towards the end that I think may help. Again, in my humble opinion, I'm very much still learning myself, but over the last couple of years, this is what I've found can be quite important, is if you're choosing someone to run your social media, or someone that wants to be involved in your club to do this side of things, I recommend that you invest in someone that is really passionate about telling the story of your club. Every club, has similar traits, but we all have separate stories and separate paths, and it's about tapping into that, telling that story correctly, and being unique. It could be a player at your club, it could be a media student looking to gain experience, which I believe could be a really good one, or anyone that has the necessary skills to drive a content production in a consistent manner, as Chris mentioned before. I would say utilize applications such as Canva and Adobe Creative Cloud Express. They're very easy, user-friendly platforms where you can build some quality graphics on. They have phone apps. You can put it across to your laptop. They're easily accessible, and they produce some really good content. So for clubs, these are just our logos, and I'd advise and say these are the best ways to get started. In a more professional level, it would be Photoshop, but for the level that we're talking about, these are perfect, and we can take them to an intermediate, to even high standard. Concluding, stay consistent. It's massive. About just give me 1 second, I'm gonna drink of water. Staying consistent. Don't leave weeks between posts, because you want to keep your audience engaged and interested, and the more content you have flying through at a quality level, the more people will want to see from you. Having a schedule of content that you may post weekly, such as interviews, updates on different teams, spotlights on people within your club, and other content that you may think your audience would like to see. Try your best to spread the love across your clubs. When we have big clubs here in Western Australia, if you're a social media person yourself, try not to focus on the first team, as hard as it is, because that's where a lot of the good content is. Bring the stories from all across the club, our female football, our mini roos, our socials, our metros, our masters. They all can bring great engagement, and they're all just as important as each other. Lastly, vary your content. As much as I've spoke about images today, it is all about keeping it fresh. So if you can, post a video interview, maybe some highlights from the match through the video camera. That's something that we utilize as a club. We post highlights of goals and etc. And use Canva, Adobe Express to create some really eye-popping graphics that will keep people coming back, keep your sponsors happy, and also have a really nice professional outlook for your club. Because when players, potential sponsors search up your club, and you have a great standard of social media, people will take you as the real deal. And social media is really the new front of really promoting our clubs in the best and brightest way. I think I'm just on time, so I might have time for a question from Abid.
Yeah,
Is that okay,
perfect.
Abid?
Of course, Robbie. Yeah, this has been fantastic, and I think you covered a lot of really crucial areas that link in nicely with what Chris was saying. And congratulations to what you've been doing at the club. What
Thank
sort
you.
of systems do you have for support? Let's say you can't make every match day. You said that you do try to use photography from within the community as well when you get the permission as well. But
Yeah.
has you taking the lead in this made others in the club take interest and support you as well?
You know, as much as possible, I try and attend as many events as I can. Sometimes, or as one person, I can't be everywhere at once. So yeah, a big thing for me has been a couple of parents within the club who are avid photographers, and they've supported me in what I've been doing. And they've gave me some of their images from games. There's also community photographers who will go to our Metro games that are really open for us to use their images and stuff like that. When it comes to what I do with graphics, etc., that's all me. But it's important to have support within the club, people who understand why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and where we want to take it forward. Because if you have people around you with the correct mindset and the similar goal, we'll do better and have more content to pull from.
Yeah, finally, Robbie, as well, before we bring in Tom from VO.
Yep.
The question is, you are a young person, as you said. You said
Yep.
it yourself, 21.
Yep.
You've got your finger on the pulse, and there's a few different platforms these days, and social media is changing very quickly.
Yep.
Uh, what are your recommendations on things like TikTok and these other apps that come out? And Chris has also said you look at one or two and focus on it, but what are your thoughts on that space?
That's something that I never particularly touched on in my presentation that I probably should have. Joondalup City as a club, we've really tried to hone in on Instagram and Facebook alongside it, just like Chris said, and not so much Twitter. The next step that I want to take is TikTok. I think TikTok is a massive revolution within football. You look at the work that Perth Glory's done. Loads of clubs within the UK and even Perth Soccer Club here in Perth have made a really good step into TikTok. Instagram for us has been a big space because of the big junior player base that we have in our NPL juniors and our metros. Instagram's huge in the younger community, and if we drive followers through that, that's where we will get a lot of success in our content. So if I had to recommend to clubs with younger bases, Instagram is still the place to be, but TikTok is also just as important, and that's a space I hope to crack into, hopefully in the next few months. But never discount Facebook. It's very popular with kind of all age groups over kind of 16, and there's loads and loads of engagement on there constantly. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram. There is Twitter, but Facebook, or for me, it's Instagram, Facebook, and I want to push into TikTok. Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Robbie, and good luck with that. And look forward to working with you in the future as you continue to grow things at Joondalup City, mate.
Thank you very much, Abid. Appreciate it.
Thanks. And our next guest is Tom Pettigrew, who's the Australia New Zealand market manager at VO Technologies, one of the Football West partners, and we've loved the work that we've got to do with VO, and also the benefit we've seen for clubs. It's been a real game changer with the video content that could be harnessed. So without further ado, welcome, Tom.
Thanks a bit, and thanks for having me here this evening. Probably early evening for you guys over there. I think it's pretty apt for a technology presentation that one of our technology doesn't work. So my background didn't seem to work. So don't bear with me, guys, and don't hold that against me on the presentation. But yeah, I'll just share my screen and bring up my presentation. I go again. Got to give access to it. Hang on. All right. Let me know when it comes up.
All good, Tom. I think the colours look good. It actually blends in well for yourself without the background.
Good. You can see that all right now?
Yeah, we're ready to go. Looks
Perfect.
good.
All right. I'll bring it up. Where are So as Abid said, Tom Pettigrew from VO, the market manager for ANZ, and I thought when thinking about this presentation or when thinking about what to share, I thought it's pretty working for a video company and a sports company that uses video to present on how clubs can use VO and video to boost your club. So I thought it'd be good to talk about that today rather than sort of just talk about what we do in the camera and things like that. Yeah, I thought I'd just sort of talk about that. So first things first, I just want to show you guys a goal that was filmed using the VO cam from one of the lower leagues over in the UK. And then I'll sort of come back to this goal a bit later on, but just sort of wanted to share it with you. So just keep that in mind, and we'll come back to that at a later point in time. But just keep that goal in mind as we go through the presentation. So first of all, the power of video, and we just heard from Robbie from Joondalup, who talked about what they're doing with their social media and video and things like that. And we're going to hear from Kingsley Westside, and I've grabbed a screenshot from their Facebook to show you that the way that they're using video. But some of the stats on video at the moment. So 54% of users want to see more video from businesses that they support. So people want to see more video. They want to be viewing more video content. So that's just showing the power of what you can do there. Video is a user's favorite type of content to see on social media. So think about the way that you interact with social media and what you do each day. I know when I'm scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, I'm looking at videos, particularly of sports teams that I follow, and highlights and things like that. So that's the content that users want to see. And if we look at just sort of some of the numbers that people are watching, so, across all online video, including streaming, social media, all that sort of stuff, people are watching on average 16 hours of online video per week. So there's a lot of video being consumed across a week by individuals across the world. So it just shows you the power and scope of what they're doing there. The other one that I didn't include, which I thought was really interesting, was that YouTube is actually the second most used search engine behind Google. So it also just shows you that a video platform like YouTube is up there with Google as the number one search engine. So in terms of video and sort of the part that can kind of play in clubs' digital engagement in your marketing, it should form a really important part. As I said, it's a visual medium, so you can kind of see what's going on. But in terms of the things that video can give you, so you can do individual player highlights, which we've just seen from Joondalup and Kingsley Westside there. Player and coach interviews, so not only just the highlights, but interviewing players and coaches and going deeper down into the club and giving people a look behind the scenes at stuff they might not be able to see. You can do weekly highlights packages. So I've just grabbed a screenshot here from Essendon Royals over here in Victoria, where I am, who do weekly highlights for each of their teams. I think one of the really important things that Robbie just mentioned was don't just stick to one team. The good thing about digital engagement is you need to cover lots of teams. And I think, weekly highlights packages for every kind of team in the club, whether that be 13s, 14s, 15s, first team, those sorts of things will really work and really help you. Video can help with your sponsor and fan engagement. So getting fans involved in that. We just saw those stats on video and how important they are for your fans, but for sponsors too, getting people to instead of just giving the usual sort of sign at the ground or posts on club rooms and things like that, getting sponsors involved in the video content that you're creating is a really, really great way to engage with them too. And then the last sort of thing about video is that it captures those moments that never would have been seen before. We just saw that goal then. I said to keep that in mind. That's a moment that might never have been caught if it wasn't for people recording with the video camera. And it doesn't just have to be a video camera. It could be just using your phone or whatever that you choose to use, but just capturing those moments that you might never have seen before. So in terms of VO and how we can help with that and using video to help with your club and the content. So what we do is we develop or we make a portable sports camera that automatically records the action. So you don't need a camera operator. You just turn it on, press record, and away you go. So you can set it up anywhere. You can take it home and away. and you can set it up and pretty much record any game you want. You can also use it for training as well, so record some of that action at training as well. The really sort of powerful part about VO and the system that we've developed is we have an AI that gives you automated custom highlights. So we give you things like first half start and end, second half start and end. We give you all the goals, corners, all that action. So you really don't have to do anything. All you have to do is grab the moments that you want and then create some sort of content from there using that video. So the really powerful part of that is that stuff's already done for you. You don't have to go through and watch the whole game. You can just pick out those user highlights. In terms of the system, coach development and player development is a big part of what VO does too. So there is different elements to it, not just what we're talking about now in terms of digital engagement, but the coach and player development side, creating feedback loops, analyzing play and tactical trends. There's another side of that to it. But for what we're talking about, just getting access to that video content to use for your promotion and your websites and social media is going to be a game changer for what you want to do. So, sort of looking at the future and how you can use this now. I've touched on a couple of things here. So video is so simple, right? It doesn't have to look like a Hollywood movie. You can grab some of the highlights that you might capture on a video camera or on a phone and post that up. You can upload it. Robbie just talked about, and Chris earlier talked about, focusing on some social media platforms. So, you can upload it to your Facebook, to your Instagram with a cool heading and tag people in it. You can tag your opponents. You can tag Football West. You can tag other people. So it's just a great way to use it now. And you can use things like iMovie or Movie Maker to add transitions, title cards, logos. Robbie talked about Canva as a graphics creator. You can create little graphics like that. I'm sure the Kingsley West Side guys will talk about what they've been doing with their highlights packages to add that in. But really what you can do right now is the sky's the limit, and it doesn't have to be fantastic. It's just content that people want to watch and consume. In terms of the future, live streaming. So we're helping clubs anywhere around the world stream their games to anyone with our VO Cam 2. Live streaming is a massive part of what people want to do with everything that's been obviously with the pandemic and not being able to go to games and to see people. Being able to watch your games anywhere, anytime is going to be a massive benefit. If you think about WA, it's a very geographically spread out area. So if you've got teams all the way up in the north that you can watch games from, or if you want to share those games with people there, you can. Content creation, you can create your own club TV channel on YouTube, go inside the club we talked about, give people access that they might not have seen before. All that kind of content creation is what people want to see now. And we think that video is going to form a really great part of that and a really big part of that. And then obviously there's the sponsorship opportunities. So you can elevate your offering to sponsors by using video, graphics, commentary, things like this. You're really giving them back more and enhancing that engagement and enhancing your offering to them when they're coming up to sponsor you and partner with you. So video forms a great part of that. One thing I kind of always talk to when I chat to clubs and people is just get one of the local businesses to sponsor maybe like a goals of the week or a highlights of the week. And then you're really creating an extra level of engagement that you might not have got before when you're going to talk to them about what to put in your sponsorship package when you're asking them for funding for the club. So I talked about that video at the start, and I want to draw back to you now and talk about that idea that using video to capture those moments that might not have been created. So that goal that I played you at the start, that was picked up by Sky Sports. It was picked up by ITV. It was picked up by The Guardian, and then above all, it was picked up by FIFA. And I checked the stats just before this afternoon when I was sort of putting the final touches on this, and I think the views now are up to just over 760,000 views. So it just shows you the power of video and capturing some moments. And look, this is by no means the only one of these absolute worldies that have been caught on video. There's been plenty more. So these kind of moments are happening every weekend across the world. And with VO, our kind of goal is to bring those moments to life and to power it. So that's what we're about. So I hope you've enjoyed that and learn a little bit about how you can use video and how video can help you with your video content.
That's amazing, Tom. What a great goal that was. Hopefully we can see a FIFA Pushkas Award nominee from WA at some point with VO. But just wanted to ask you as well, there's definitely a lot of clubs you do work with, but of course in WA we have 250 clubs. There'll be some interest. So how do clubs what's possible for them to work with you? How can they reach out, and what are the offers?
We obviously, it did mention there, we have a partnership with Football West, and we're really honoured and excited to work with you guys. So we have a landing page that we can fill out that I'm sure Bid and the team will share with you, and we're offering all participants and attendees at the session tonight $400 off the cost of a video camera and an annual subscription. So that's double what you would get as just part of the normal subscription. So normal partnership. So for attending tonight, you'll get that extra discount too, and you can purchase yourselves a video camera to start using and recording your games and training.
Thanks a lot, Tom. That's a wonderful discount, and that'll be available hopefully to those that tune in afterwards as well as a reward. And yeah, there'll be some benefits there. So thank you, and that's the beauty of technology, that we can have you all the way from Victoria joining us, mate. We now will move to Chris Brady, who's the president of Kingsley Westside Football Club, the seniors. And this brings a few threads together, because Kingsley Westside have done work with VO, work with Computing Australia Group, and as the president, he's also running the social media of the club as well. So a very warm welcome to you, Chris.
Hey, Bede, how you going?
Yeah, good, mate.
All right, I will share my screen. 2 6. All right, has that shared?
Yep, looks awesome.
No worries. Okay, all right, thanks. And thanks for having us on tonight. And well done to the 3 presenters so far. It's been pretty awesome. And unfortunately, some of the stuff I'm going to say might well be repeating some of the stuff that Robbie and co have already said. But I think if clubs can pick up on 2 or 3 of those common themes, I think it'll really help them out. So as Pete said, my name's Chris Brady. I'm president of the seniors at Kingsley Westside. I also do a fair bit of the club's social media, which is ironic, being pretty much the oldest person at the club, and I am reminded of that regularly by our members. So what I'm going to run through is really how our club approaches it. We have a few challenges. Look, every club has challenges, but we have some specific challenges that we're dealing with at the moment around our club's growth, and how the social media assists with that, and how we use the VO camera and the like. A lot of what I'm going to talk about here, a lot of clubs are already in that space. Clubs like I think Forestfield do a really good job. I think the work that Robbie does at Joondalup City is fantastic. So if there's anyone who isn't sort of getting up to speed can pick up from tonight, but just feel free to help out as well. These clubs are here to help each other. Look, for anyone who doesn't know too much about our club, Kingsley Westside, we were formed in 2019. We used to be Kingsley Soccer Club, and we merged with Westside FC in 2019 when Kingsley got promoted into the State League from the amateurs. We are, as the name would suggest, a very northern suburbs-based club. We've got bases in Woodvale, Burns Beach, Kinross, and we're playing our State League games in Hillary's this year, so we've got a big footprint in that northern suburbs. And we are a club that's gone through massive growth. I joined the club in 2015, and I think we had 3 senior teams. We've now got 11 senior and 20 to 25 juniors, a women's team, little girls running around. So it's been a crazy 3 or 4 year period of growth for the club. And facilities wise, we've got a $4 million redevelopment of our home ground currently underway, which creates challenges in terms of the home ground, the sponsorship opportunities and that sort of thing, which we are turning to online to really assist us this year. And I guess over the last couple of years, we really have tried to make our social media a little bit more professional, raise the bar a bit. I'll run through each of these just to really show what we present as a club, and I guess some of the advantages of the way we approach things. Like most clubs, we've got the website, we have the Facebook page with around 1,500 people following it, and the Instagram with the 1,400. We don't have the TikToks or anything like that. Maybe if some of the youngies at the club want to take that one up, I'm always happy to listen in and see what that offers. I guess from a web perspective, our web page is pretty basic. It's really a landing page, so that if anyone Googles, clubs in the Joondalup area or Kingsley, our club will come up near the top. And really, it's a landing page for the purpose of not having to update it all the time. Because I think if you're having to spend hours and hours updating your website every week, you're going to go crazy, because most people aren't going to your website, they're going to your social media. So essentially, we have a basic landing page, a bit about the club, who we are, who's on the committee, who our sponsors are, important key documents for the club, and then contact information. Pretty basic, really gets updated once a year when there's a new committee on, or if a new sponsor comes on, and that way it's fairly low maintenance. So it is a WordPress website, so it is pretty basic. So I might be hitting Chris up to get an upgrade after what he promised a bit earlier. Our Facebook page is probably where most of the action for our club is, particularly the focus on match day, the games that are coming up for all the squads, what the big results were, what the big news around the club is, who's the new sponsors, what fundraising activities are coming on. We do use the VO a fair bit. Our former president Robbie Anderson created this Kingsley Westside TV because we thought we're using this VO camera. It's great. The coaches are using it for their analysis of matches and that sort of stuff, but we do have a pretty good opportunity to use that for our socials and exposure of the players and the sponsors as well. Instagram, like most clubs, we have the Instagram account, which is essentially very photo based. We don't have an in-house photographer. Like I said, Robbie does a great job with Joondalup. He's always got the photos from that day up and about that day of the match. So we're a little bit more ad hoc. We have photographers who, if we have 3 or 4 photographers through the year who might come down and do a few games. But that's definitely an area that I'd like to see, just simply because if you can have the up-to-date photography, it just keeps things fresh and moving over. But this is obviously a platform that's focused on graphics. So as guys were mentioned before, there's some great apps out there for making sure your graphics are up to scratch. You can set your templates on Canva and the like, and you just update it week by week with the latest information. We do use VO fairly heavily, as was mentioned by Tom just before. So we set this Kingsley Westside TV. One of our volunteers, Ollie Galpin, spends a fair bit of time editing that week by week. We do we'll upload to the Facebook highlights packages from our state league games, the first team, the Rezzies, and the under 18s, all off the VO. We'll also, if we've recorded other teams, the amateurs or the masters, and something has been a good goal or something like that, we'll also get that online as well. So as the guys would say, you are sharing that connection right throughout the club. Using the VO, it's all uploaded to VO. Essentially, you'll play a game and you can access the VO footage for you in about 7 to 8 hours. So it is fairly quick. Normally, if we play on a Saturday, it gets uploaded and it's available on the Sunday morning to then go in and start doing the editing. The videos, when you start sharing them around, do attract good numbers. The videos are reaching sort of 2,000 to 3,000 views. So it puts me to shame that 800,000 one that was talked about a few minutes ago. But one aim for that and the one I'm about to talk to in a second. One of the other things we do is, because we splice together different video files with the VO footage from that week. It's a good one for our sponsors. So before you watch one of our videos, you do have to sit through about 25 seconds of seeing all of our sponsors, and they appreciate being at the start of those, and it's good business exposure for those guys as well. This is so on that topic of sharing the love. This is a video that we uploaded. One of our guys from the amateur reserves. Poor guy scored 2 own goals in the first 2 weeks of the year, and then he's I'm not even making that up. Callum, you know who you are. And then on Saturday night, he's produced a 25-yard worldie into the top. Not an own goal this time, at the right end of the pitch. He's done a 25-yard worldie out of nowhere. He'll never do it again. So we put that video online, and he's become a bit of a social media sensation. But it just shows you, a video like that, it's got sort of 500 clicks and views already, and it just shows you something as simple as that. No one would have believed that goal got scored, but it's caught on camera and it's uploaded, and everyone's enjoying it. And it's not just it's not just our state league first team that's getting the exposure. It flows all the way through the club. The VO is good. It's not cheap. But we have ordered the VO2, which we should have land with us in a couple of months' time. We're hoping to see better quality better quality footage, better quality sound, and it live streams as well, which is going to be an interesting one when VO2 lands in a couple of months' time. I guess from a resourcing point of view, website, because it is quite static, an hour a week, if you average it out across the year, obviously, there is some time spent to build your website, and I'm sure you could speak to Chris and his crew through what they do through sponsorship and the like, to assist with that. We've got a sponsorship with Computing Australia where, in return for taking them on as one of our silver level sponsors, where we have a sign up at the games and that sort of stuff. Chris has put us on our Microsoft Outlook platform for our email. Email was very clunky before. He's web hosting for us now, and I might hit him up to build us a new website. But again, from a resourcing point of view, I think once your website's established, it's over the course of the year, I think it's an hour a week, and it's really just updating for new sponsors and the like. Social media, 2 or 3 hours a week, graphic design, getting match reports done. Just really depends how busy things are. And then Ollie puts in probably 2 to 3 hours a week with the Kingsley Westside TV, and the majority of that time spent with the videos actually physically uploading to a YouTube or a server. But as Tom mentioned before, the videos come already broken down into little bite-sized highlights, penalties, goals, start of each half, and that sort of stuff. So that certainly does help. I guess the advantage, and this probably takes it full circle back to what Chris said in his presentation right at the start, but I think the advantage of having a pretty clean online presence and strong engagement, it does build up the brand awareness for the club. You do look and feel a little bit more professional if the time goes into your online presence. It does make you more attractive to sponsors if they can easily find information, or they're seeing that they're part of a strong brand. New players get interested in it, and decision makers, Football West, councils, local MP, that sort of stuff. If things are clean and up to date and looking pretty nice, you are more likely to get a bit of traction in your discussion with the key people. I think for us, we, like I mentioned before, we have gone through a very strong period of growth. So I think having a good social media has allowed everyone to keep track of what's happening within the club, so everyone knows what teams are winning, what teams aren't doing so good, what new players have come in. So we try and keep it consistent and try and share it amongst everyone, because like I said, we've gone from 3 seniors to 11 in the space of 4 or 5 years. It could easily get out of hand and everyone loses track of what's going on, but it allows that club culture to be maintained. It is overly time intensive. Like Robbie said, once you've got the template set up, just replace stuff with fresh content, and it looks like a brand new graphic. So it's easily done. There are plenty of apps out there to help you. Canva's been mentioned a couple of times. I mean, anyone can become a professional graphic designer now using Canva. The key is having fresh images to use in there. A lot of our KWTV videos are done on the phone using the iPhone Movie Maker by splicing little video files together. That takes 5 minutes. And what I've found as well is clubs generally help each other. So if you've got a question about a VO, or you want to borrow, you want to use someone else's photos for your content, I've found clubs are always open to helping each other. They save the white line fever for on the field, and generally help each other off the park. All right, thanks for me.
Chris, that was fantastic. Really amazing slides. The growth story of the club has been testament to the committee and yourself for leading that. And you spoke with a lot of passion and raised a lot of important points. I wonder as well, just within the club, you mentioned a few names of people who help you out. Has that been difficult to build a bit of a team, or how do you approach that?
I'm probably my own worst enemy. I am a bit of a control freak when it comes to that sort of stuff. But we do have the guy who does the most amount of work on this would be Ollie Galpin. So he does all of our KWTV videos. He does all that editing on the VO. He's there, with another guy, Lee Ferguson, and others setting up the camera and making sure it's all running well. So I'll give a big shout out to him. but yeah, if I can get it, if I can find some youngies that want to come in and set us up on a TikTok, I'll give it some thought, maybe.
Yeah. Well, we know Robbie's at Joondalup, so you can't get him, but maybe.
I was going to say, well, there is a transfer window opening pretty soon, so we might have to negotiate with Robbie, see what he's chasing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. Well, I can't thank enough our presenters tonight. We started with Chris Karapetkov at Computing Australia Group. We had Robbie Anderson at Joondalup City, Tom Pettigrew from VO Technologies, and also Chris Brady from our Kingsley West Side, our Galacticos of social media and digital engagement. So really thank you, and
I'll
of
take
course to the club. Yeah, why not? Why not? To the clubs who are tuning in, please reach out as well if you need any support. We're here to help. Of course, we just had 2 clubs, 2 industry partners. So it's about the community working together. So a rising tide lifts all the boats, as they say. And to finish off, just wanted to mention at the top, it wasn't recorded, but the 2022 Hyundai Community Football Raffle has commenced. Online tickets are on sale. Paper-based will be in a few weeks' time. We go all the way to 17th of October, so got all of this season to raise crucial funds for your club. It's basically free money in a way, because a lot of the proceeds go straight back to your club, which is really key. And while we're talking about digital engagement, we've got a Dropbox link that will circulate to everyone, which has got your digital promotional assets, so you can use it on Facebook, Instagram, and all the images and also the blurbs that you need. So please reach out to us if you have any questions about the raffle. But from us here at the Hyundai Building Stronger Clubs Digital Engagement Workshop, keep smiling, keep scoring.